I'm playing for the first time. No. I like Metal Gear Solid 1. And we're doing it for story.
After the end of World War II, the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
Altitude 30,000 feet.
Approaching Soviet airspace.
20 minutes to drop off.
Commencing internal depressurization. Equipment check. Arm main parachute.
All right. You ready to go?
Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay.
Good. We've got high visibility.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask. Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Approaching release point.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf?
He said put out the cigar and put on your mask.
Depressurization complete.
Checking oxygen supply.
6 minutes to drop off. Open
Nice.
rear hatch.
I don't keep up with football, but is there a particular team that you are wanting or waiting to watch today or wanting to win? Is your team doing good?
External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand up.
You'll be falling at 130 miles per hour. Try not to get frostbite from the wind chill.
1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear.
Activate bailout model.
This is one for the history books. The world's first halo jump.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by. Status okay. All green.
Prepare for
Nice.
drop-off.
Okay.
Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Spread your wings
And fly. God be with you.
I looked it up because I was curious as to what the question at the start does of this game. And apparently if you pick you like Metal Gear Solid 1, you get better stamina during the Virtuous Mission. If you pick this is my first time playing, you get nothing special, it's just a regular opener. Metal Gear Solid 2, I remember it gives you the Raiden mask, or Jack mask, or whatever they call it in this game. And if you pick I like Metal Gear Solid 3, you get all of the extra
Virtuous Mission. Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
camouflage that was
Don't get cocky. This
exclusive
isn't
only to Subsistence.
Right.
Otherwise you get those
So
upon
what exactly
beating the
is
game
this
once.
wonderful mission?
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles. His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the OKB 754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top-secret weapon research facilities, and the East's foremost expert on weapons development.
Sokolov. Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same. On April the 12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight in history.
The Earth was blue, but there was no God.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin into orbit was the A-1, known as the Vostok rocket.
Oh, that's
Sokolov
unfortunate.
is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket. After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story. So why do you want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid?
Have they been doing good so far,
Well,
like,
crisis
in
of
the...
conscience.
And for that, he left
Is
his
it a
country
season?
and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not
Is
exactly.
everything a season?
One of
I
his
know, like,
conditions
baseball, it's a
was
season.
his family was also to
In
protect
American
safety
football,
to
it's
the
a
west.
season.
We used a mole to get the family out first and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the operation.
The security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had... And we
Why
checked
did I
in
do
with
that? I
West
didn't mean to
Berlin.
mute it. I just feel like it's
2 weeks
very
and more than
quiet.
600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba.
I don't remember all that
The
much
Soviets
about
didn't
3.
back down, instead placing their armed
No, that's a
forces on
lie.
second
I do. I
alert
remember quite a
as
bit.
Soviet
I just never
troops
remembered
carrying
what the
missiles continued
opening
on course
question
towards
did.
Cuba. US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted.
And the
for
only
UN's
major
Emergency
difference I had
Security
noticed without like
Council
actually
and
looking it
unofficial
up was that if you chose I liked
end
Metal
the
Gear
hair
Solid
trigger
2,
standoff.
it gave you the mask,
Finally, on
and you
October
start the
28th,
game wearing the
the Soviet
mask.
Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba. And so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust.
Oh,
But in order
tournament.
to get the Soviets
Okay,
to pull their
okay.
missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter
Well, here's hoping that
IRBMs
England
deployed
does do
in
better
Turkey
than
were obsolete.
do better against Norway
We were
then.
going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse, a cover story that was fed to the other intelligence agencies around the world.
So what did the Russians really want?
Sokolov. They wanted us to return Sokolov.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working on?
At the time, we had no idea. We were running out of time. It was either give up Sokolov or risk full-scale nuclear war. In the end, we had no choice. President Kennedy
Okay, so it
gave
looks like
into
they're in day
Khrushchev's
2 of 3 for this tournament? I just
The next
googled it
day,
real quick.
I got Sokolov out of the hospital, handing him over to agents on the eastern side. Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight. Then a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Yes. He was taken back to the research.
Oh, so what's going to happen on the 15th when it's
Northern
Northern Ireland versus England?
What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No, missiles.
Won the first
Same
Norway's
technology.
toughest competition. In the... Okay, fair enough.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Is Sokolov still in the facility?
No, according to our
Okay, then so
intelligence,
after
he's
Friday,
in
it'll go to the
Selino
quarterfinals,
Yas, a place in the
semifinals,
mountains
and
about
then the
3 miles to the
final.
west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
Okay,
The Virgin Cliffs.
cool.
Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's our best chance to get him back. This mission would never have been possible if he was still in the research facility. This is our last chance. Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted us.
Wrong button again. Oh, I was like, why did everything cut out? It's because the cutscenes were going so long that my
Listen
Xbox
up,
turned
Jack.
into
Your mission is to infiltrate
AFK mode.
Sibino in the Soviet mountains, ensure the safety of Sokolov, and bring him back to the West.
Oh, yes, that's right. We can look around. My bad, my bad.
If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking. Once we've confirmed the rescue of Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes. Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system. I'm familiar with the theory.
Take it easy. It's been combat proven.
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat talon?
She's equipped with two 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as two 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong,
You'll be eating dinner, breakfast.
and all the rest of your meals in the
I mean, it might be a lot, but at least it's during a cutscene, so it's a lot easier to read it. Fair enough, fair enough. Oh no, there goes my backpack. His mask says Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. Leave no trace that we were here. Proceeds to drop 3 pieces of equipment.
Do you copy? You're already in enemy
It's gonna be a
territory,
very
and somebody might
dirty
be
cheese
listening in.
sandwich when I get it back later.
From here on out, we'll be using code names to refer to each other. Your code name for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
What, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
Well, you've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training?
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom. This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy. You must leave no trace of your presence. Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment are procured on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Great. Now I see why you asked me if I like snakes. I suppose calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No, there's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to the subject, how exactly am I supposed to feed myself?
You've been issued a knife and a tranquilizer gun. Use them to hunt for food. You'll also find some medical supplies in your backpack.
Yeah, about the backpack. I lost it in a tree on the way down.
I see. Well, you'd better go back and get it then.
You know, with extra protein
You
from
know
the
where it
ants,
is?
it better be
No problem.
better be a
I
bigger
can see
boost
it
to my
from here.
stamina.
It's stuck on a branch.
To climb a tree, stand in front of a tree that's covered in ivy and press the action button. I'll be monitoring your progress over the radio. We can't risk violating Soviet airspace, but I'll be in the gunship. My frequency is 140.85. I'll give you a call if I need to talk to you. If you need to talk to me, use the send function. Okay, Snake, go get your backpack.
All right. Let's go back to traditional camera. Actually, maybe I can get used to this since I liked it so much in 5. Yeah, we'll take the life medicine. There it is. Totally should just be able to... I missed my dive anyway. Doesn't matter. Yep. I was gonna say totally should just be able to dive out to the branch, but...
I see you've retrieved your backpack, Snake. To equip a weapon, it's necessary to take it out of your backpack. In the survival viewer, choose Weapon from the backpack. Your available weapons will be displayed in a window in the upper left. From that list, choose the weapon you want to equip and press the Enter button. For other equipped items, just do the same thing from Item.
Got it. Use the survival viewer backpack.
Yep, that's right.
It does
Survival
feel a
is
little
fundamental
greener
to this
than
After you've been out in the field for
I
a while, your
remember as
stamina will
well.
start to drop. If your stamina gets too low, it'll affect your performance. You won't be able to shoot accurately, for example, and your wounds won't heal as smoothly. Keep an eye on your stamina so you don't run out. To recover lost stamina, you can hunt for local flora and fauna. You can use either your tranquilizer gun or your knife to hunt.
My only weapon is a Mark 22 Hush Puppy tranquilizer gun?
That's right. It's been fitted with its own suppressor. However, the suppressor will deteriorate every time you fire. Once its durability reaches 0, the noise suppression effect will be gone. So don't get too trigger happy with it. The suppressor's durability is shown in the icon. Any weapons and equipment beyond what you're carrying now, you'll have to find as you go.
I have to find my own weapons and equipment? Whose crazy idea was this anyway?
Solo covert actions are standard Fox operating procedure. You can't leave any traces of your presence. No weapons, equipment, footprints, sweat, or bodily waste. The same goes for bullets and cartridges, too. Your presence in enemy territory is already a violation of international conventions of warfare. There aren't supposed to be any American soldiers in Russia. It could spark an international incident. You can't let anyone see you. You can't let the enemy know you're there. This is a stealth mission. You're a ghost, Snake, in every sense of the word. And there'll be no rescue if you're captured. The military and US government will deny any involvement in the affair.
Then I'll just have to take care of myself, huh?
I'm afraid so. You've been given a fake death pill for that purpose. SIS guidelines stipulate that soldiers on covert ops like this one be issued a potassium cyanide capsule. Tape it to your body so you can take it when you need to.
How generous of you.
Use it if you're taken prisoner by the enemy. It'll send you into a state of false death for a short time.
Fooling them into thinking that I'm really dead. So, how do I come back to life?
Just take the revival pill.
You mean that thing they put in my tooth before the mission?
That's the one. But be careful. If you remain in a state of false death for too long, nothing will be able to bring you back. Remember that.
I'll keep it in mind. You said this was a solo mission, right?
Right.
I guess that means I can't count on any reinforcements.
Correct. The mission rests entirely in your hands.
A real one-man army.
Relax.
All right.
There's a support team ready to back you up over the radio.
Who?
I'll introduce them
here
to
we go.
you. This time, survival is of utmost importance. The first member of the support team will be in charge of monitoring your physical condition, acting as a medic, so to speak, as well as recording your mission data. She's a member of Fox as well, and she's here on the gunship with me.
She.
Hello, Snake. I'm paramedic. Nice to meet you.
Paramedic.
As in a medic who comes in by parachute.
Aren't you going to tell me your real name?
Are you going to tell me yours, Mr. Snake?
My name, huh? It's John Doe.
And they call you Jack for short. You're a regular Captain Nemo.
A name means nothing on the battlefield. After a week, no one has a name. What's your name?
Jane Doe.
Very funny.
I wasn't joking, but I'll tell you my name only if you manage to make it back alive. My frequency is 145.73.
She's also in charge of recording your mission data. Whenever you want to save, send a message over the reserved save frequency, 140.96.
So saving lets me record my mission data.
That's right. It also records the state of your health.
Good to know.
There's one more person I want to introduce you to, Snake.
Huh?
Speaking of snakes, you remember the boss, don't you? A legendary soldier and your mentor. Actually, it was the boss that got the DCI's authorization in the first place. She's going to be serving as Fox's mission advisor.
Boss is?
She also helped me plan this mission. She and I were at SAS together.
Jack, is that you? How many years has it been?
Boss?
That's right. It's me.
Oh.
Talk to me. Let me hear your voice.
It's been 5 years, 72 days, and 18 hours.
You've lost weight.
You can tell just by the sound of my voice.
Of course I can. I know all about you.
Really? Well, I don't know anything about you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Why'd you disappear on me all of a sudden?
I was on a top-secret mission. You didn't need me anymore.
But there were still so many things I wanted you to teach me.
No, I taught you everything you needed to know about fighting techniques. I taught you all I could. The rest you needed to learn on your own.
Techniques, sure. But what about how to think like a soldier?
How to think like a soldier? I can't teach you that. A soldier needs to be strong in spirit, body, and technique. And the only thing you can learn from someone else is technique. In fact, technique doesn't even matter. What's most important is spirit. Spirit and body are like two sides of a single coin. They're the same thing. I can't teach you how to think. You'll just have to figure it out for yourself. Listen to me, Jack. Just because soldiers are on the same side right now doesn't mean they always will be. Having personal feelings about your comrades is one of the worst sins you can commit. Politics determine who you face on the battlefield.
It would be in the
And
SAS, wouldn't it?
politics are a living thing. They change along with the times. Yesterday's good might
Because-
be tomorrow's evil.
Is that why you abandoned me?
SAS isn't a
No,
place.
It had nothing to do with you. I already told you, Jack. I was on a top-secret mission. A soldier
That
has
would
to
make a lot
follow
more
whatever
sense.
orders he's given. It's not his place to question why. But you're looking for a reason to fight. You are a natural-born fighter, but you're not quite a soldier. A soldier is a political tool, nothing more. That's doubly true if he's a career soldier. Right and wrong have no place in his mission. He has no enemies.
I don't remember what
and no
SAS stood
friends.
for. They had
Only
said it in
the
the
mission.
second game,
You
Special
follow
Air
the
Service.
orders you're
But
given. That's what being a soldier is.
I do whatever
I never even
have to
questioned
get
it
the
until you
job
pointed
done.
it out, and I was like,
I don't think about
yeah, no,
politics.
that doesn't make sense.
That's not the same thing. Sooner or later, your conscience is going to bother you. In the end, you have to choose whether you're going to live as a soldier or just another man with a gun. There's a saying in the Orient, loyalty to the end. Do you know what it means?
Being patriotic.
It means devoting yourself to your country.
I follow the president and the top brass. I'm ready to die for them if necessary.
The president and the top brass won't be there forever. Once their terms are up, others will take their place.
I follow the will of the leader, no matter who's in charge.
People aren't the ones who dictate the missions.
Then who does?
The times. People's values change over time, and so do the leaders of a country. So there's no such thing as an enemy in absolute terms. The enemies we fight are only enemies in relative terms, constantly changing with the times. As long as we have loyalty to the end, there's no point in believing in anything, even in those we love.
And that's the way a soldier's supposed to think?
The only thing we can believe in with absolute certainty is the mission, Jack.
All right, but do me a favor.
What is it?
Call me Snake.
Snake. Oh, right. Your codename is Snake. It suits you well.
That's right. The legendary unit that the boss put together during World War II was a snake. The Cobra unit, a group of heroes that brought the war to an end and saved the world. As long as you've got a legendary hero backing you up, you'll be fine. Isn't that right, Snake?
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else I'd rather have with me. Oh, and one more thing, boss.
Yes?
It's good to hear your voice again.
Same here. After all, who knows if either of us will make it out alive? Snake, you are always best at urban warfare and infiltrating buildings. But this is the jungle. Survival is going to be key. Those CQC techniques I taught you are sure to come in handy.
CQC? Close quarters combat, huh? I've been in the Green Berets for the past few years. I'm probably pretty rusty.
Not to worry. I'll be here to help you remember. After all, this is your first actual survival mission. I'll be supporting you over the radio.
Where are you, boss? Next to the Major?
The boss is communicating with us by radio from aboard a Permit-class submarine in the Arctic Ocean.
My frequency is 141.80. Call me if you need my advice on battle techniques.
Gotcha.
Your mission is to retrieve Dr. Sokolov. Dr. Sokolov is being held in an abandoned factory located to the north of your current position. Avoid heavy combat and don't let anyone see you. Don't forget that this is a stealth mission.
Snake, try to remember some of the basics of CQC.
The slow knife draw.
Commencing Virtuous Mission now.
Alright. Let's go to backpack real quick. Don't want the easy gun. Honestly, I never use that or that or that. Okay, oh, let's take this. Oh, more suppressor. That was one of the things I really liked that they introduced in this game was the suppressors wearing out. But it's still one of those games where overall I feel like it just kind of drags a little.
Major. I've spotted 2 enemy soldiers.
Oh.
They're probably KGB troops sent to guard Sokolov.
AK-47s and grenades.
Snake, your presence in Soviet territory is already a violation of international law. We can't let the Kremlin find out that the CIA and the American government are involved. Contact with the enemy is strictly prohibited. Don't engage them in battle either. This is a stealth mission. Got that?
The Major is right. The point of this mission is to sneak through the jungle without being seen. The success of the mission depends on how well you use your camouflage. Change your camouflage by selecting Camouflage from the Survival Viewer. The Uniform option lets you pick your uniform, while the Face option lets you change your face paint. Choosing camouflage that blends in with your surroundings will help you conceal yourself more effectively. Also, don't forget that anything that moves will stand out in the jungle. If you just stand up and run around like an idiot, you're bound to be spotted. But if you crawl instead, you should be able to sneak by without being noticed. You can see how effective your camouflage is by looking at the Camo Index. The Camo Index shows how well your current camouflage blends in with the surrounding area. The higher the value, the harder you are to spot, and vice versa. The key is to make yourself one with nature. Keep that in mind as you go along, okay?
I don't know why the way she says camouflage bugs me so much. There it is. I don't need it, but I want it. Ooh. Might as well just make our camo work a little bit better. We'll go woodland and tiger stripe. I know the leaf is already a +5 from here, but
The enemy is close by.
whoops. Yeah, I get that. I don't even necessarily want to say like it's the setting that's weird. Not that anybody said anything about that. It does feel. I don't even know if tone would be the right word that feels different. Oh yeah, yeah. Then Rising Revengeance released, and how did you not see me? That's right. You can't crouch walk in this game. There we go. I'm pretty sure me and him made eye contact. Oh, person there though. Exactly. But you got to be careful how you word it, because to some people, you mentioned that this game is your least favorite, and they go, "Oh, so you hate it?" And I'm like, no, that's not what I said. I said I didn't enjoy it as much as the other ones, but I still play it. All right, let's see if I can get this one on first try. Every time. Yep. I agree. It's like that dumb meme that I've seen around on like Twitter and stuff, where it's like, you tweet out that you like apples, and then everybody else responds like, "Oh, but what about oranges?" Yeah. Unfortunately, though, you get that with everything, because even like with Final Fantasy, you mentioned that something like, I personally enjoy Final Fantasy VIII the most. But suddenly, because I enjoy 8, there's no way that I could also enjoy 7 or any of the others in the series. And I'm like, that's not what I said.
Sokolov from here. The security is pretty tight. There are sentries posted around the perimeter. I wonder how many are inside.
Your objective, Sokolov, is inside the factory. They should be holding him in a room in the northeast section.
Northeast section. Got it.
Be careful. Your mission is to bring Sokolov back alive. He must not be exposed to any kind of danger. Do not approach Sokolov while in the alert phase.
Right.
Oh, and one more thing, Snake.
You mean there's more?
No, it's just that when you get to Sokolov, I want you to tell him something from me.
And that is?
Sorry for being so late.
Is that all?
Yes.
Understood. Beginning my approach to the target.
Okay. If I remember right, there's about 4 guards that I have to take care of. There's one.
Huh?
Every
The enemy's
time.
here.
Oh, he's like right there. Come on, through the stairs, through the stairs. Yeah. I didn't mean to fall off the stairs there. Because I'm pretty sure up here is a suppressor for the, yeah. I have had that literal conversation so many times, and I'm like, all right, no, that's nowhere near what I said at all. I said 8 was my favorite, and I mean 8 gets hate, and it's not that it's not deserved. The junction system is different, but the junction system is also one of the parts of the game that I like so much. I also really love the materia system from 7. But 8 has a special place in my heart because it's the first one I ever bought and beat on my own. 7 is the first one I ever played for by like 5 minutes because my cousin had 7. But I enjoy 7.
You must be Sokolov.
About the only ones
Are
I
you
don't
one of Volgin's men?
enjoy, or used to not enjoy,
You'll never get it from me.
as I wasn't a big fan of 9
I'm a CIA
until this
agent.
last time I tried to play it a couple years
I've come
ago.
to escort you back to the other side of the
I
Iron
just
Curtain.
there's something about the
Your
main
CIA.
character Zidane and just the story in
I
general
was
that
sent
just
by
didn't
Major Zero, the man who
hit
got you out
with me
2
when I was
years ago.
younger. And
Zero?
I have a
I
hard
have a message
time
from
What is it?
enjoying and
him.
getting
He said
into
to tell you
10
sorry for being
because
so late.
again, I can't stand. I always call him Titus,
Did
but
he
I guess
now?
technically it's Titus.
What does it
Um,
mean?
It means he's
I
a
can't
man
stand
of
him
his
as a character.
word. But we've got no time for this. You'll have to get me out of here before they arrive.
Who's they?
Colonel Volgin of Gru. You in the West know him as Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt? Never heard of him.
Particularly though, like
Army's
specifically
extremist faction
between
that
7
seeks
and
to
8,
seize
because those are the
control
ones
of
that
the
like if you
motherland.
like 8, you
Ever since the Cuban
clearly
Missile
have to hate
Crisis 3
7.
years ago, Khrushchev has been pursuing a
Um,
policy of peaceful coexistence with
it's
the West. Despite
part of the
resistance and
reason why
criticism from
people who
hawks in
love
the
7
army
so much,
and
and I say
provincial
that, and I know I'm
authorities,
making a generalization here
Khrushchev
because
has
I know,
managed to
like
suppress
most
the
things, it's a
opposition
small amount
so
of people.
far. But the
They
failure of
fail
his
to realize
agricultural
the
policies
parts of
has
7
put
that
him in a precarious
aren't
position.
great.
And
That
on top of that, the tragedy last November.
President
I mean,
Kennedy's
like it's basically
assassination.
been confirmed that when
This
7
says-
released, it was an
It
incomplete
says
and broken
Khrushchev
game,
has lost his biggest
but
partner, and his
not
power
necessarily
base is
broken in that
rapidly
it wouldn't
crumbling
work, but there were
away.
just
A
there's
certain
code
group
in
is
that
plotting
game
to use this
for things that
opportunity
you
to
can never
seize
trigger.
power by rallying the
Um,
anti-government forces,
people don't want to talk about that
overthrowing
because
Khrushchev,
7
and
is
installing
just so
Brezhnev and
perfect.
Kosygin in his place. The mastermind behind this plot is Colonel Volgin of the Gru. He has control over another secret weapons research facility much like this one, OKB-812, known as the Granin Design Bureau, and is using it to further his plans. But that is not enough to satisfy him. Now he's plotting to seize the secret weapon I have been developing here and use it as leverage in his bid for power. The intelligence says that they are going to make their move during the test.
Then, the soldiers outside.
Exactly. They wouldn't need that many men just to keep me inside. Their orders were to prevent Colonel Volgin from capturing me. Even if it meant killing me in the process, or so it would seem. Volgin will come. I'm sure of it. You must get me out of here before then.
Leave it to me.
By the way, your Russian is superb. Where did you learn to speak it?
From my mentor.
Is that so? America is truly a frightening country.
Having second thoughts.
No. I have no love for this place. Let's go.
Yeah, I always called him Titus. And I mean, I get why they never say his name in the actual Tin, because you can actually change his name. So
Major, this is Snake.
they can't
Sokolov is safe with
voice
me. He's doing
act a bunch of
fine.
different
No
names.
injuries.
Good work, Snake. Now hurry up and get Sokolov to the
But-
recovery point. We'll rendezvous with you there.
Roger.
particularly
What
with
about the sentries?
him,
No one spotted me.
I see.
What about the
I
boss?
just couldn't
We lost
connect
contact
with
the
his
boss some time
character.
ago.
What happened?
It's probably just a weak
And
signal. Just hurry and get
To
Sokolov
this
out of
day,
there.
he still comes off as a whiny little brat to me. And my wife has actually tried to make me come around on it because she really likes Tin, and I told her, I was like, it's not that I don't dislike Tin, because I love Orin, I love Lulu, Riku. I'm not a big fan of Waka, but it's a hard game for me to play because so much of it centers around Titus.
Freeze!
And I love the summons from Tin. Compared to other ones, I feel like they kind of did Ifrit a little dirty because they turned him into the four-legged
legendary boss.
wolf-like thing, and I will admit I'm a little ignorant when it comes to where the summons come from in terms of real-world culture, so I don't know if maybe that version of Ifrit is more accurate.
You're from the Ocelot
But coming
Planet
off of 7, 8, and 9, where Ifrit is a
What's a Gru soldier doing
bipedal, demon-looking thing, it did bother me a little bit there. But I loved Ixion. I loved what they did with Shiva. And Bahamut looked cool. And Bahamut is my favorite summon in any game.
He's the Ocelot
But also
commander.
Anima.
That's Major Ocelot to you. And don't you forget it.
Sokolov
God.
is ours. Now get out of here.
And Ocelot never lets us praise.
People talk about how great the 14 community is. And for the most part, I would say comparatively to other MMOs, they are not bad. But yeah. I love 14 and I loved streaming it while I was streaming it, but I was mostly streaming it because I wanted an excuse to play it. And it wasn't going well. I think I'll go back to streaming it like at the release of major patches now when they release like new MSQ content, and I'll stream like that. But for the most part, I think 14 is going to be one of my have fun by myself games.
I can't say it feels good to kill a comrade, even if it is for the Gru.
Sokolov, take cover.
What was the mobile game of theirs that I did
Not the
try?
boss, are you?
Was it? I think I tried. I'm actually just gonna go to the App Store and see which one has the little, like, re-download me.
Gru operatives?
What is that stance? Huh.
That gun. If you're not the boss, then die. Major! Leave it! Shoot the other one!
Ah, I tried Record Keeper. I enjoyed Blitzball too, and Blitzball was one of the things that like a lot of people hated. I didn't necessarily like having to grind Blitzball to get like Waka's ultimate stuff, and there's reasons why I haven't tried to fight Penance or the Dark Aeons yet, because like the Ideal Party has Waka and all of that. But I liked the idea behind the sphere grid as well, and how it was. I also really love this scene. I liked the idea behind the sphere grid and how you could potentially make and specialize any character into whatever you wanted. But the thought of grinding that thing out to max in order to do some of the higher end stuff was just too much for me.
You only heard about in the middle of battle wasn't very smart. You were asking to have your gun jam on you.
And the mobile game I had played was Record Keeper for a little while.
For an automatic in the first place. You tend to twist your elbow to absorb the recoil. That's more of a revolver technique.
You filthy American dog!
But that was some fancy shooting. You're pretty good.
Pretty good.
I think I played it for maybe a week or two, and I don't remember ultimately what made me put it down, but I think it's more that I'm not big on mobile games.
Snake, you alright?
I've run into a few snags. These guys were after Sokolov too. Apparently they were taking orders from a GRU colonel named Volgan.
A GRU colonel?
And then I know that there was, I think,
Soviet power struggle according to Sokolov.
The international version of the game.
The KGB and GRU. Between Khrushchev's supporters.
I don't know. There was one of them that had like the expert sphere grid that we all got over here
like
when we
even hotter than Cuba.
got the 10 and 10.2 HD remaster.
I agree. You'd better hurry.
Sokolov ran off by himself, but I'll catch up to him.
We're counting on you.
I like the idea of that even more, because there's something to me that just seems funny about maybe making Lulu your high physical damage dealer and Orin your healer. But yep. It's why
You okay?
13 is one of my favorite series within the Final Fantasy games.
They're coming for me.
But I will admit that
I'm finished.
13 has its problems. The combat,
I promise. And we've got some of the best backup
except when you're trying to do like the end game or higher end stuff, is essentially just button mash A and auto battle. You very rarely ever have to.
Yes. The Shagahod, the treading behemoth, a tank capable of launching nuclear IRBM.
You rarely ever actually have to think about what you're doing in the combat beyond what your party composition is in your paradigm. But the actual story for 13, like the whole series, 13, 13-2, and Lightning Returns, is so good.
Is that thing finished?
No.
And when I finally went through
Of phase 1.
and
It won't be truly finished until we
100%ed all of them last year and got all the achievements for them,
the weapon's true form.
that's pretty cool.
If it's complete and the Colonel gets his hands on it, it will mean
I
the
was
end of the Cold War.
so impressed with the story. I got into them after they released. The first one I bought actually was 13-2
Truly begin.
because it was in one of Blockbuster's like buy two
No choice but to
for
cooperate.
$5 or 2 for $10 deal or whatever in their bins that they had, and I saw Lightning on the cover, and I was, you know, your typical high schooler, and I was like, she looks hot, so I'm gonna get that game. And then didn't play it for like a month because I was like, well, I can't play the second one without having played the first one. Went back to Blockbuster like 2 weeks later, and they had the first one in that same bin. So I was like, all right, yeah, let's pick it up. And started playing it and thoroughly enjoyed it. Got all the way to the end, beat it. Fell in love with Fang when Fang showed up. Started playing the second one and really enjoyed the second one a lot more than the first one. Bought Lightning Returns day of release and got to the very end of that one and could not beat the final boss. And I did not feel like doing a new game plus just to get stronger to try and beat it. So I sat the game down for like 7 years, give or take. Picked it up again last year. Here's the annoying part, because I had the game guide for both 13-2 and for Lightning Returns. Even with the game guide, couldn't beat Lightning Returns. Picked it up again last year.
What are you doing here?
Got to the end, and honestly, it was probably about an hour of constantly grinding to try and beat the final boss and get past this one specific phase. And I guess just through my whole time of playing the game, I never really learned how to get the stagger gauge to work in Lightning Returns. But I finally did it. So I will fully admit that Lightning Returns, as much as I loved it, was apparently a game that I did not understand mechanically. But it did feel so good when I finally beat it, and I got to see like the secret ending and all of that, and it was such a good story.
My friends,
I now need to
let us
beat
fight
15.
together again.
I do actually need to go back and finally beat 10 and 10-2.
Once more.
I have gotten to the very end of 10
Welcome back.
probably about 6 or 7 times. Like literally the final save point before the final boss.
It's time we go to the depths of hell
And then sat the
itself.
game down and got to that point and been like, alright, I'm gonna go do some of the optional hard dungeons, like the Omega Ruins and stuff like that. And then didn't pick the game
It's
back
raining
up.
blood.
10-2, I
Is he
got
crying?
a little ways into it and then just kinda fell off on it. Exactly. Always one phase. And it's never the first phase, and it's never the end phase. It's always one of the middle phases. Because you'll get through the first phase and you're going to be like, alright, I way overpowered myself. This is going to be easy.
Ah, what a
Then you hit
joyful
that phase.
scene.
and it's just constant
Colonel
annoyance.
Welcome to
Then you
my
get past it, and it's like, oh,
and to my
well, the rest of this is easy now too. If you have a PC, I think 15 is on Windows.
Boss, what is this?
I'm defecting to the Soviet Union. Sokolov is a little gift from my new hosts.
I currently have a file in 12 where
Recoilless
I'm like
nuclear
right at the end
warheads.
as well, and I haven't beat it. I played 12 when it originally released, and I loved it.
These
And
will make a
then never
fine
actually,
gift for me.
I had
This
rented
can't
it from
be happening.
Blockbuster, and then never actually
Who is
bought
he?
a copy of 12.
Another one of your
So when they
disciples?
released the Zodiac Age, I picked it up and I played through it.
Are we taking him with us?
I picked it up
No,
originally
this
when they
one is
released it
still just
on
a child,
PlayStation
too
4, and I
pure
think I
for
have a
us
physical
Cougars.
copy of it.
He
And
has
then I
not
think it
yet
came
found
to
an emotion
Xbox
to
like a
carry
year
into
later.
battle.
What are you talking about?
Think you can pull the trigger?
Yeah, I think that was part of my issues with 10-2 as well. Is it just, even though it felt to me like with the leveling system, it felt more normal for a Final Fantasy. I think it felt so different from from 10, that it was a little off-putting.
He's seen
But
my face.
12 came to Xbox, I think, shortly before or right after
Can't
my
let him
son was
live.
born, so I was home for a while and had a lot of free time. So I played through it then.
If Khrushchev finds out about this, we're finished. He must die.
Wait. He's my apprentice. I'll take care of him. Jack, you can't come with us.
I need to go and eventually someday play through 1 through 6. Especially now that there's so many different ways to play through them. Because I think that my wife has them for Game Boy Advance. They're on mobile. They're doing the Pixel remasters, and those are on Steam, I think.
The new blood has been rejected.
That would suck with a dislocated arm.
Are we done here?
Now, onto Sokolov's research facility.
Shagohod is ours.
Drift away. My place is with them now.
Snake, can you hear me?
Yeah. Just barely.
Snake, listen to me. You need emergency medical treatment. Can you move? You've got to get those wounds treated. Hang in there. All right, let's get you fixed up. Paramedic?
Okay, Snake. Just relax and it'll all be over before you know it. Stay with me. I've seen people in worse shape before. Think you can handle it?
Major. The boss. She's defected.
We'll talk about that later. First, we've got to get you patched up.
Okay, here we go. First, open the survival viewer with the start button. If you select cure, you can start the treatment. Healing is divided into treatment using medicine with the item window button and surgical treatment using the weapon window button. Your injuries include a fractured left elbow and rib bone, and lacerations on your upper arms, right elbow, and abdomen. They need to be fixed using surgical treatment. Move the healing cursor with the left stick to the affected part of your body. Once
Totally,
you've
they come
selected
from the age
affected
of,
area, hold the weapon window button and use the left stick to select the medical item,
obviously
and
no
then press the enter button.
internet or
With
not
this
easy
method,
access
you can
to
use
internet.
items to help the recovery
And
process. To treat a bone fracture, first secure the affected
you
area
really
with a
had to
fastener
read and
and
just
then
kind
wrap
of
it in bandages. That should
played
do it.
around on your own.
For lacerations, when they
And yeah, I
disinfected
was
the
about to
clean
ask
wound,
if you were
sutures
going to
to
get back
stitch
to
it
that.
up,
So no worries.
skipped it to slow the flow of blood,
Have a
and
good one, and I
bandages to
hope
wrap
your
the wound.
team, I hope England does
If
well.
you do everything I mentioned, the wound should heal completely. Understood?
Yeah.
Stay with me. Go into the survival viewer and treat those wounds.
Okay. Survival viewer, cure. Press the A button to apply. Alright, stop the bleeding. Disinfect. Suture, bandage. Styptic, disinfect, suture, bandage. Splint, bandage. That is one of those things, the cure and the taking care of injuries, that I think is super cool, and I actually feel like it was really well integrated into this game, but I'm glad they got rid of it.
Good job, Snake.
We're coming to get you now. Just stay where you are. We'll drop a recovery balloon. Can you set it up?
Oh, I didn't get a chance to see the sorrow there.
Shagohod.
Excellent. A great success. Thanks to the boss and her cobras, I have both Sokolov and the Shagohod.
What are we going to do with the girl?
Who is she?
Apparently she's Sokolov's woman.
She's a nice catch. I'll take her. Not so fast, my dear. A kiss of death.
Are you KGB?
We may be able to use her. She has spunk.
Shall we take her back to the base?
Perhaps we should. We have no further use for Sokolov's research facility. I think it's time I gave this marvelous new toy a try.
Colonel, even if they are our enemies, they're still our countrymen.
It won't be me that pulled the trigger. It'll be our friend, the American defector.
You're going to nuke your fellow Russians?
Nice.
Remember the
Let's go, England.
Colonel!
Big boom. Save, yes. Yeah, we'll save over that one. Goodness, that's almost 3 years ago to the day that I last played this game. Okay.
What a thrill, with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill, I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no.
This game did have some pretty bopping music, though. Like, this is a good theme.
It's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. Someday you a tree frog. It's ordeal, the trial to survive. For the day we see new light, I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. I'm still in a dream, snake eater.
Currently flying over the Arctic Ocean, altitude 30,000 feet, approaching Soviet airspace. Arriving at the designated drone launch point. Drone oil pressure and voltage are nominal. Payload oxygen supply is nominal. Power supply to payload antifreeze system shows no problems. No gusts. All systems go for drone detachment.
Snake, we can't risk a halo jump this time around. Airspace security has gotten tighter since we were last here. We can't get as close to the ground as we did during the Virtuous mission. So instead, we'll be using one of our newest weapons. Snake, you're being given an honor on par with Alan Shepard. This is our last chance. Show your patriotism. If you fail, you'll be back in a hospital bed again, waiting for the firing squad. So how does it feel to be a patient in one of the most advanced ICUs in the world?
Would you do me a favor and tell the suits about visiting hours? I'll never get better with them assaulting me day and night with their questions.
Must be part of the top brass's inquiry.
More like an interrogation. According to them, I'm a traitor and an accomplice to the boss's defection.
They're just looking for a scapegoat.
Does that mean they're after you, too?
Let's just say neither one of us is going to be made a national hero out of this.
Does this mean Fox is going to die?
No. This fox is still one step ahead of the hounds. The reason I came to see you today, Jack, it's time for Fox to clear its name.
What are you talking about?
The situation has changed. We've still got a chance to come out of this one alive.
Yeah, what kind of chance?
Don't get too excited. Here, have a cigar. It's Cuban. This morning, I had a meeting with the CIA.
They decided when they're going to execute us?
No. Something even bigger. Yesterday, the White House received an unexpected call.
President Johnson?
Yes, I hear you, Mr. Chairman.
It was a hotline call from Khrushchev to President Johnson.
From the head of the Soviet Union?
That's right.
A few days ago, one of our country's main design bureaus, OKB 754, was destroyed in a nuclear explosion. At about the same time, our anti-aircraft radar picked up a signature that appeared to come from one of your military aircraft. Does any of this sound familiar to you? In retaliation, I have placed our armed forces on secondary alert. Depending on your response, I may be left with no choice but to order the military to maximum alert and unleash Armageddon. With the help of your predecessor, I was able to survive the Cuban incident. But my power is not as great as it once was. If I am to survive this crisis, I must have your full cooperation.
I should have contacted you myself. Did you know that one of our soldiers defected to your country a week ago?
No.
So you haven't heard then. The man who arranged the defection was a GRU colonel by the name of Yevgeny Borosovich Volgin.
Volgin? Of the Brezhnev faction. Go on. Who is the soldier?
Her name is the Boss. She's a living legend. During World War II, she was the one who led us to victory in that war. In Russia, you know her as Voyevoda.
You mean the Boss? The mother of your special forces?
Yes, that's the one. And she took 2 miniature nuclear shells along with her.
The Boss took 2 miniature nuclear shells?
I'm afraid so. I believe they were a gift for her new hosts. The Davy Crockett Atomic Battle Group delivery system was completed 2 years ago. Serious problems were found with the launcher's range and precision. Although they were mass-produced, they've never been deployed in battle.
But Sokolov's research facility was completely wiped out. The whole area is polluted.
I can only offer you my deepest condolences over this terrible tragedy.
So, the Boss, with Colonel Volgin's help, stole 2 experimental nuclear shells and took them with her as gift when she defected. Then, shortly thereafter, Sokolov's design lab, a top-secret military research facility, was destroyed by one of these weapons. Am I right so far?
Yes, that's correct.
And the American government denies any involvement in the affair. Is that right as well?
That's correct. We were not involved in any way.
Then what was a U.S. military aircraft doing on our radar screen? It was clearly in a violation of our airspace. And yet you say it was not acting under your orders.
That's correct.
You expect me to believe that this was all the work of a single soldier?
I don't know what else to tell you.
Indeed, more Metal Gear. We finished up the second one. That'll be posted to YouTube probably tonight or early morning, depending on how long it takes to process. And we've started the third one. We've gotten through the Virtuous Mission and are now in the cutscenes prior to the main mission.
You have 1 week. You must catch the Boss yourselves and recover the remaining nuclear device. Then, you must find some way to prove your innocence.
Prove our innocence?
Yes, preferably something painful. Prove to me that this is not merely another one of your tricks.
The Boss should be close to Colonel Volgin. How about a little co-action?
I would not expect too much if I were you. The political situation here is unstable. And Colonel Volgin is a member of the Brezhnev faction, which seeks to topple my government. 1 week. You have only 1 week. And if it is not too much to ask, do something about Volgin as well.
What is that supposed to mean?
Nothing. It means nothing. Call it a modest gentleman's agreement to ensure our continued relationship.
What if we can't prove our innocence?
Then I will be unable to restrain the military. I will be ousted, and they will seek their revenge.
Well, if it's your second favorite, Bridget, I will try to make it as good of a playthrough as I can.
I leave the disposal of this situation entirely to your discretion, Mr. President.
Disposal?
If you fail, it will mean the beginning of a new world war.
To put it simply, in order to avoid a full-scale nuclear conflict, we have to prove that America was not involved in that explosion.
And eliminating the Boss ourselves will prove America's innocence?
Right. The higher-ups have decided that you're the only one capable of pulling this off. You were her last apprentice. Screw this one up, and we'll both be 6 feet under. There's no choice.
No, it wasn't working today. So
the Russians going to be helping us?
I don't know. It's
KGB has
probably about time that I need to get a new one.
So that you and I can talk to each other.
I had to see what the right bumper was for.
They've also put us in touch with a couple of insiders.
So I can have one that maybe works a little more consistently and always connects.
There was a defection in September 1960. Do you remember it?
You mean the two NSA codebreakers
We'll
who
see.
went over to the Soviet Union?
Precisely. Since then, they've apparently been training with the KGB for exactly this kind of situation. Their code names are Adam and Eva. I've been told that Adam has infiltrated Volgin's ranks. We've also arranged for him to provide you with an escape route. You'll need to rendezvous with him when you get there.
Control. Unidentified aircraft detected. Altitude 30,000 feet. It's fast. Estimated airspeed exceeding Mach 3. Bearing south. I'm about to lose it.
We just got delivered to a forest in a missile.
This is Snake. Do you read me?
Loud and clear. Glad to see you landed safely.
I got blown pretty far off target.
Snake, let's go over your mission objectives one more time. Rescue Sokolov. Find out what's happened to the Shagohod, then destroy it. And finally, eliminate the boss.
Eliminate the boss?
This mission will be codenamed Operation Snake Eater.
Because I'll be taking on the boss in our Cobra unit, right?
Don't forget about Colonel Volgin.
I'm not a hired killer.
I know, but that was the Kremlin's demand.
Demand? You mean it wasn't just a request? What's it to us if the Khrushchev regime is threatened by the Colonel and his faction?
If supporting the current regime helps us avoid a nuclear exchange, then that's what we'll do.
And what are the CIA's demands?
Our priorities are the rescue of Sokolov and the destruction of the Shagohod.
Roger that, Major Tom.
Hold on, Snake.
What now?
I'm changing my codename. It turns out Tom wasn't the most auspicious choice.
What do you mean?
Well, the truth is, when I chose my codename, I picked the wrong one.
The wrong one?
Did you ever see the movie The Great Escape? It came out last year.
Oh, must have missed that one.
Anyway, it's based on a true story about prisoners who escaped from a POW camp in Nazi Germany. The prisoners dig 3 tunnels as part of their plan, but the Nazis find 2 of the tunnels before they're finished. The prisoners succeed in escaping by using the last remaining tunnel. The names of those 3 tunnels were Dick, Harry, and Tom.
I get it. You used the name of the tunnel they escaped in as your code name because you thought it would bring you good luck.
Yes, that's exactly right. At least, that was the plan.
But
I got the name wrong. The one they escaped in was Harry. Tom was one of the unlucky tunnels. It was discovered by the Nazis before it was finished. I watched the movie again just to make sure. In fact, I even ordered the actual film from the movie company.
yeah, it doesn't sound like the greatest name to use. So what should I call you?
You know, let's just use Zero, like we've been doing all along.
All right then. Major Zero it is. we'll start over from square one.
From
Square zero.
My frequency is 140.85. Oh, I almost forgot. Paramedic is with us again on this mission.
Is this her last chance too?
If we fail, she'll have her medical license revoked. It's more or less the same kind of fate. Her frequency is the same as during the Virtuous Mission, 145.73. She'll be recording your mission data as well, just like the last time. That frequency is also the same, 140.96. And there's one more person on your support team.
Oh,
His name is Mr.
it's
Sigurd.
an interesting plot
He's an
point for
expert
sure.
on the latest in weapons and equipment technology. You'll be going up against some of the world's most advanced weaponry when you infiltrate the research facility. If you have any questions, just ask him. His frequency is 148.41.
Mr. Sigint, got it.
Adam, your KGB contact, is waiting for you at the abandoned factory up ahead.
The same factory Sokolov was being held in last week.
Yes, meet up with Adam first. He's cleared the way for you to rescue Sokolov.
How'll I know this Adam guy when I see him?
You'll know once you reach the factory. The whole area's been polluted by the fallout from that nuclear blast. No one else would dare come close. The password is, "Who are the Patriots?" and Lali Lule Lo.
Lali Lule Lo. Gotcha.
You've been equipped with a 45 for this mission. Be careful, it's noisy.
I thought standard Fox procedure was procure on-site weapons acquisition.
The circumstances are different this time. You're now on an official mission for the United States government. It would be necessary to make your presence known to a certain extent, to the Khrushchev regime at the very least. But remember, this is still a sneaking mission. Snake, if you fail this mission, it will mean an all-out nuclear war. Keep that in mind and proceed with extreme caution.
Understood. Commencing Operation Snake Eater.
Operation Snake Eater. Looking at the wrong screen. Hold on, sorry. I was oriented more to look at the computer monitor than the game screen. And it was confusing me. My brain didn't like it. Collect all of the reticulated pythons that we can, because they are good food. I heard the horse. Give me the green tree python. No worries. You can watch the football game. It's okay.
Looks like death wasn't ready for you yet.
Boss.
That arm still hurt?
What are you doing here?
can't do that with a 1911 that easily.
Go home. Gru and my sons are waiting up ahead.
Probably gonna pick
You
up the
don't
glowing
have a
mushrooms
prayer
again
of
for
finishing your
sure.
mission. You're not even armed.
Boss!
I'm not your boss anymore. There's nothing for you here. Go home. Go back to your boss. There's no need to prove that you are virtuous here. This isn't America.
I forgot that the
That should stir
because
things up a bit.
the
You better
magazine
hurry.
is shaped like the infinity symbol, she can shoot forever. It's legit what it says when you pick it up.
The
When you get
border
that
is
weapon.
60 miles south of here. You ought to be able to run that far.
Why'd you defect?
I didn't. I'm loyal to the end, to my purpose. What about you, Jack? What's it going to be? Loyalty to your country or loyalty to me? Your country or your old mentor? The mission or your beliefs? Your duty to your unit or your personal feelings? You don't know the truth yet. But sooner or later you'll have to choose. I don't expect you to forgive me. But you can't defeat me either. You know me too well. Just look at that bandana. If you can't put the past behind you, you won't survive long. If we meet again, I'll kill you. Now, go home.
This is Snake. Major Zero.
I read you, Snake.
I was ambushed by the boss.
You were what?
The drone's been shot to hell. It's up in flames.
That's not good. Enemy scouts are going to come looking for you.
Yeah, I know. But what was the boss doing here in the first place? There's got to be a leak somewhere.
No, that's impossible. The man the boss is working with, Volgin, isn't exactly on speaking terms with Khrushchev.
I lost my gun. The boss destroyed it.
Snake, I know how you're feeling. It's hard for me to believe, too, that a legendary hero like the boss would go over to the Russians. That she'd double-cross us like this.
Also,
But that's
even
how
if
it
you
is,
could
and
do
if you
what
don't accept it,
the boss did
you'll
too in
never be able to beat
1911
her.
that
That's
quickly
not
and
the
that
problem.
easily and in that
In
way.
terms of sheer technique, I'll never be able to beat
As
her.
long as she didn't take a
I know
piece
that all
with
too
her,
well.
you could put it
You've
back
got
together.
to do it, Snake. She's your enemy and your objective.
Enemy? We were together for 10 years, and now you tell me she's my enemy?
Enough. Hurry to the factory where Adam is waiting. Scouts have probably already been sent out to investigate the explosion. You've lost your weapon, right? That means you've got no chance of winning in a battle situation. Whatever you do, don't let them see you.
Alright.
What's this? HQ? HQ.
This is H.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I'm not keeping the easy gun.
Acknowledged. Sending reinforcements. Use extra caution.
Oh, we're gonna get bit. We're gonna get bit. Guess not. Okay. Okay. So the dude's walking so slow.
HQ.
This is HQ.
Patrol here. Unable to locate the problem.
Understood. Return to your position.
Okay. Would you climb back up, please? It was no one. No! Wrong button! Hey, did you know that A is not to climb back up? That is Y. Gotta stand up all the way, Snake. You missed me fall to my death because I pressed the wrong button. How do you interrogate?
Answer me. Under the rope bridge. Flatten yourself against the cliff wall and proceed.
That's all you got?
Speak. Let me go.
I was gonna say, if you happen to fall off, buddy, that's not my fault. Okay, this is exactly what happened, and then instead of pressing Y to climb back up, I pressed A and dropped. Which would have been fine if I was where I wanted to be when I did it. It was funny. Alright, now I'm sure... Actually, I don't think there is any enemies here. Every time. Snake just loves running up these stairs so much, she's got to skip over it. Hey, we got an AK. Whew. Yeah, so when Jokelane and I started dating, I had her play through the Metal Gear Solid. And it was so hard for me to watch her play it. Because she doesn't play it the same way that I do. But she did great. And you said it's 6-0, which is insane for England's winning. That's good. That's good.
Sorry I'm late.
Cut the engine. They'll hear us.
Are you the agent they sent?
Are you Adam? I thought you were supposed to be a man.
Adam couldn't make it.
All right, say the password. Who are the Patriots? Who are the Patriots? Answer me! Trapped.
Get down!
For me, it's specifically when like I am in the same room with a person. And it's a game that I am very much like in love with. Because she's great and knows how to play Final Fantasy 7 and 8. But she stats her characters differently than I do and gives them different materia or different junctions. And I'm just like, alright, but listen. Squall gets Ifrit because you get Ifrit to learn strength bonus at an early level, and then Squall is super powerful by the end game. Calm down there, Snake.
The name's Eva.
We're gonna skip this right bumper because I don't want to get banned by Twitch.
this wasn't part of the plan, what happened to Adam?
What's your code name?
It's Snake.
Snake, huh? Well, I'm Eva. Are you here to tempt me?
What happened to Adam?
Colonel Volgan is a very
I
suspicious
don't want to sound like that person, but I kinda am.
Yes.
Why?
Because I can do things he can't.
But
I heard you used to be a code breaker for the NSA.
yeah.
I was. 4 years ago, I defected to the Soviet Union with Adam.
Mauser military. The broom handle.
It packs quite a punch. Nice to have when you're on a bike.
You held it sideways.
The other thing
and
is, like,
used the
having
muscle
played like
jump
games
to
like
create a
this,
horizontal sweep.
I know like some of the things that make the game overall
Bet you've never
easier.
seen that technique in the
Like
It's imitation, isn't it?
Yeah.
in Metal Gear
It's a
Solid
Chinese
when you're
Type
running up the
17
stair
pistol.
set with the alert going,
Around here. Even
and
that's
it's just
hard to
easier to
come
have
by.
the FAMAS out and just constantly firing.
Don't worry, though.
Getting to the
What I've
point
got
where you
for
can
you
fire
isn't
and run
gonna
at the
be
same
made.
time is a little hard if you don't know how to do it.
45, huh?
I love what he does here. Geeks out over the gun.
Incredible.
Do you like it?
The feeding ramp is polished to a mirror sheen. The slide's been reinforced, and the interlock with the frame is tightened for added precision. The sight system is original too. The thumb safety is extended to make it easier on the finger. A long type trigger with non-slip grooves. A ring hammer. The base of the trigger guard's been filed down for a higher grip. And not only that, nearly every part of this gun has been expertly crafted and customized.
I mean, it is fair because I did tell her when she was playing through 8, because she hadn't played through 8 yet, and I had that set as like one of my stipulations, and I say that with air quotes. You can't see it because the webcam isn't working.
There are more where that came from.
For us to get married was she had to play through 8 first because it was my favorite Final Fantasy, and
You had this with you, didn't
we had a lot of Final Fantasy 7 and 8 themes in our wedding, and I was like, listen,
Better
you
take
have
this
to be
too.
able to at least understand
What's that?
A disguise to
the
make you look like a scientist.
little homages that I'm putting in our stuff.
You're here to rescue Sokolov, right?
And there was at one point during it where I was like,
Yes.
I have
He's
to
being
just
forced
take
to
a back
continue
seat
his
right
work in
now,
Shagohai.
and
Where?
no pun
the
intended.
lab. They've got a whole
And I was
army
like,
of scientists there
I'm gonna let you
developing
do what you want,
Security is
but
tough,
you got to
if
know
you
that this is
disguise yourself as a
this is not how
scientist,
I play
you might be
8.
able to sneak in.
Can we get Sokolov out of there?
We'll see, won't we?
Tell me how to get to the lab.
And I had to try and remind myself of that because I play 8 from a very
First,
completionist.
you'll need to head north through the jungle.
I'm doing
You'll come to a
everything that I
heliport
can
used for
play
shipping
through.
materials.
Not necessarily like
Pass
collecting
the
every item
heliport
and all of that,
continue
like
north, and there will be
100%ing it
large
that way, but
crevice.
like I'm
Descend
doing
into
all the
that
side
area and
quests.
you'll
I'm
reach a
trying to
cave.
max my
Move through
characters
the
as
cave and
much
you'll
as I
arrive at a
can
mangrove
without
swamp.
having to do the
After the
month-long
swamp,
grind
there'll be a
of
warehouse.
eating specific enemies with
Make your way
Devour.
through the warehouse and you'll
Um,
come out just south of the lab.
and she was going for a story playthrough, which
just
is
what are
an
you doing
entirely
there?
different mindset.
In close-range combat, a knife can sometimes be more useful than a gun. By doing this, I'll be able to hold a knife at the same time and still keep the gun steady. That way, I can instantly switch between a gun battle and a knife fight. Right, let's get going.
Wait a minute.
What now?
You must be tired. Why don't you take a little rest?
I'll be fine.
You'll never make it in your condition. It's a jungle out there. There's
Literally.
still an hour before dawn. It's dangerous to be out in the jungle at night without a guide.
What about you?
I have to get back. I can't be gone for too long. They'll start to suspect something. Don't worry. I'll keep you updated over the radio.
That's it?
My orders are to provide you with information, nothing more. You look disappointed. All right, then. I'll do something special for you. I'll stand watch until dawn. Now be a good boy and lie down. What's the matter?
I don't know you well enough to trust you.
How well do you have to know me to trust me?
I don't know if I can trust anybody.
And in terms of total fairness, like, you did a very good job of playing 8. Because...
Gonna get that?
Totally.
She's right, Snake. You should get some sleep.
And
Although in your condition, you really ought to be
get
back
that
in the
aspect.
ICU.
And
Whenever you save the game and quit, you'll go to sleep. Sleeping allows you to gain back
pretty
stamina
much for
naturally. Depending on how long you sleep,
any
you
game,
may also recover naturally from sickness and injury.
except for
When you're
8.
tired or hurt,
I
the best
love
thing
that.
to do is just get some sleep. So do yourself a favor and take a nap. Doctor's orders.
Sounds
okay?
good. I hope the rest of the game goes well.
Okay.
And have a good rest of the day as well too, Bridget. I'll see you later today. Yeah, let's save. Actually, you know what? I think that's a good stopping point. We have a forced save. And I will be back tomorrow, usual time, and we'll continue with this. So, I mean, since 2 of my viewers, I appreciate the lurking, but it seems like a good stopping point anyway. So yeah, I will talk to you all tomorrow, and we'll be back about 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. Have a good one. I hope England wins for you.